and welcome to this PGS Zoom clinic, in which I'll be talking all about launching the Parish Giving Scheme during Generosity Week. My name's Janet Edmond, and I am your Stewardship Officer for the Diocese of Leeds, and I'm also your Parish Giving Scheme representative. Now, as I go through today's presentation, you'll find that within the slides there are lots of links that will take you directly to the information. And to actually find a copy of the PDF version of this presentation, once the webinar is finished, you can find it at this link here. Okay. So what I'm going to be talking about in this presentation is looking at why launch the Parish Giving Scheme in Generosity Week. I'm also going to be showing you some of the resources that the Parish Giving Scheme team have already produced that link to Generosity Week and that you can use. I'll also touch upon some of the Generosity Week resources that are already available as well, that have been prepared by the Church of England. And I'll also be sharing with you a very short video which is entitled A Treasurer's Story, just showing you what one treasurer has done in terms of launching the Parish Giving Scheme during Generosity Week. And then at the end, if you'd like to, if you have any questions, then there'll be time for that as well. Okay. So before we start, I just wanted to remind you that before you launch the Parish Giving Scheme to any of your parishioners, it's really important to have a look at your parish landing page on the Parish Giving website. Now, the parish landing page is the page which is your church profile. And when you have registered for the Parish Giving Scheme, you will be able to edit and update your parish profile. So the important thing is to go to the parish landing page, and it will be your personal statement receiver who registered with the Parish Giving Scheme that will be able to do this. They need to go to their parish landing page and they need to check and edit the details on there just to make sure that everything is correct. And what you'll also be able to do from the parish landing page on the website is to download your bespoke QR code. Now, the QR code will take people directly to your parish landing page on the PGS website. So it's a really good idea to have that before you launch the PGS, because you can use that QR code on lots of promotional materials during Generosity Week when you're promoting the Parish Giving Scheme. And if you're not really sure how to do either of those things, you will be able to read all about them with step-by-step instructions in this document called How to Update Your Parish Landing Page. And you'll be able to find this document at this link here. And the last thing I wanted to say before launching the PGS to your congregations is that I would strongly recommend that all PCC members actually sign up to the Parish Giving Scheme before you launch. And this is important because it's showing that you are leading the way, that you have experience of the Parish Giving Scheme, and also that enables you to offer reassurance to your parishioners about how great the scheme is and how easy it is to use. So, launching the PGS during Generosity Week, why would we want to do that? Why is that a good time to actually introduce the Parish Giving Scheme? Well, if we have a look at Generosity Week itself and try to understand what Generosity Week is all about, I think that will help us to understand why. Generosity Week encourages us to celebrate God's generosity, and that's lived out in our churches and our parishes. It's our way to say thank you to God for everything that He has given us, and to celebrate His generosity. It also gives us a chance to reflect on what we are each thankful and grateful for the things that God has given us. It enables us as well to spend time reflecting on how we ourselves can live generously as individuals, but also how our church community can live generously. It will also give us time to reflect on our own giving not only in money, but also in the time that we can offer to help other people and to help our church and to help deliver our mission, and also the talents that we have that we can also offer to other people to help deliver our mission and our vision. And Generosity Week also gives us that time to focus on reviewing our giving and how we can give. So all of these things is a focus during Generosity Week, and it's a really important time for us. And because of that, it's a really great time to think about launching the Parish Giving Scheme, or if you've already launched a Parish Giving Scheme, to think about relaunching the Parish Giving Scheme and reminding your parishioners about the Parish Giving Scheme and how they can use it. Launching during Generosity Week and launching during the Harvest Festival is a really appropriate time because we are giving thanks to God's generosity to us. And if we're able to launch the Parish Giving Scheme alongside Generosity Week, or a gift day, or a stewardship campaign at a different time of the year, we're more likely that the Parish Giving Scheme will actually have a greater impact. And because Generosity Week has a greater focus on reviewing our giving, by launching it during Generosity Week, the PGS will have a greater impact amongst your parishioners and people will notice it more. But remember, the Parish Giving Scheme is not a giving. It's not a way of giving. It's a method of giving. It's a mechanism. It's a new tool to help people to give. And so introducing the Parish Giving Scheme, by introducing the Parish Giving Scheme, you're actually introducing a new tool for people to use, and it will enable people to give regularly. And that in itself is helping your ministry and your mission to grow and flourish. And also, I think what's really important about Generosity Week is that the Parish Giving Scheme is that the Parish Giving Scheme team themselves also fully support Generosity Week, and they've already prepared a lot of promotional materials that you can use to help you promote Parish Giving Scheme during Generosity Week. So I'm going to show you some of those promotional resources that will help you with that key messaging during Generosity Week when you can be talking about the Parish Giving Scheme. So let's first of all have a look at the PGS promotional resources that the Parish Giving Scheme team themselves have produced. To find them, your personal statement receiver would log into their My PGS account on the PGS website, and they would find this page. You would look for this page, and if they click on this Generosity Week, it will take them to all of these documents here that are all resources that you can use to promote the PGS. You can see at the top here, there's a few videos that were actually prepared last year by the PGS team, so they're not that great for using because they do have the 2021 date on them. However, below that, there's documents, there's a Generosity Week flyer, and then there's social media content for Generosity Week as well that you can use. And so there's a lot of material there that I will show you in a second. But if your personal statement receiver isn't available or can't find the documents when they log into their My PGS account, alternatively, you can click on this link here and it will take you straight to this page as well so that you can find the documents. Just pointing out here the social media content for Generosity Week, and a lot of that has already been prepared by the PGS team, which you can use. And I'm going to show you an example of it here. Now here's a post that has been ready prepared by the PGS team that you can use on your Facebook page. And if you use Twitter or Instagram, you can also use that as well. There's some text here that you can use, and there is a graphic that will kind of accompany it. So you can use the text here and also the graphic on your Facebook page. And during Generosity Week, you can be posting this onto your Facebook page to get the message out, not only to your parishioners, but perhaps to your wider community as well. This particular message, I think, is really important to stress as a key message, that the PGS is created for the church, by the church. And I think what's really important about that is that every pound that is gifted through the PGS is actually received by your church, and not a penny of that is taken for profit by PGS itself. And that's perhaps why so many people, so many givers trust the PGS. And I think that's a really good message to be able to give out to people during Generosity Week. The PGS is a good way to give, and it's a trusted way to give. Here's some other examples of the PGS resources that are actually branded here. You can see with Generosity Week on them. They're being prepared by the Parish Giving Scheme team themselves. The one that I've already showed you there. And then here's another one as well, which says Live Life Generously. And another post here that you can put out on during Generosity Week. And this is actually a quote from one of the PGS team. She says, Carol, her name is, she says, being generous with time, ideas and energy produces a very positive environment, very much a can-do way of thinking. And I think that that just shows you as well and helps to get the message across that the PGS organisation are really keen to play their part in leading the development of a generous culture. And so they are linked with Generosity Week, and the PGS is linked with Generosity Week. Other materials that you can use, there's a flyer, which is branded with Generosity Week. You can print this one out and give it to people during Generosity Week. You can email it to them. You can have it in your parish magazine. You can send it out on your website as well. And this one is actually more about the practical way that you can use the PGS, whereas the previous ones were more about the inspirational messages that you can give. This is more about the practical things and the practical way in which you can use the PGS. And these posts explain here as well, these can be used on Facebook, how you can give through the PGS by phone, by post or online. And so as well as printing out this flyer, you can use these graphics here that also come with accompanying text on your Facebook page, and you can do one every day of the week if you like, to get the message across and to communicate that the PGS is a great thing to use, a great tool to use for regular giving. There's also a video that the PGS team have prepared that explains the Parish Giving Scheme, and you can actually watch the video by clicking on this link here. I won't play it for you now, but you can actually go back and watch that yourselves, and it just takes you through the reason, how it explains how the PGS works and the benefits to the giver and their church. So that's a really good thing to use. You can put that onto your website page. You can download that. You can use it on Facebook. And you could even play it at the church as well if you were giving a talk on the Parish Giving Scheme. Now, as well as the resources I've talked about that are all that are branded for Generosity Week, of course, there are also those other Parish Giving Scheme promotional resources that the PGS team have already prepared that you can use at any time of the year to promote the Parish Giving Scheme. And these promotional resources, again, you can find them in the same place that you found the Generosity Week resources. You can find your guides and resources at this link, the same link that I showed you previously. Of course, your personal statement receiver can log in to their account and find them as well. But there's a whole list of resources here that you can use just to promote the PGS. You can use them during Generosity Week, or you can use them at any time of the year. Just an example of some of them, some of the documents that are available, the step-by-step guide, for instance, for donors, explaining how they can set up their giving the regular giving online through the PGS. There's also posters that you can download, infographics that you can use. Just to show you more examples here, here's an infographic that you can print out or you can email to people on your website, showing you the 3 ways that you can give through the PGS. So you can give online, give by telephone, give by a gift form. And it's simple, and these are the key messages. So that's something that you can use during Generosity Week. Also, there's a poster you can download, and if you look here as well, the QR code I talked about earlier, you can actually drop in here your bespoke QR code, and people can scan that, and it will take them straight to your parish landing page on the PGS website, where they can set up their regular giving in 2 or 3 clicks. And also, for those people who don't have a scanner to scan the QR code, you can also drop in your URL here for your parish landing page. Again, people can go there, can visit your landing page and donate. So these are some great resources that you can use not only during Generosity Week, but at any time. And just as a reminder, during Generosity Week itself, you may be doing all sorts of things to communicate Generosity Week. You may be putting notices in your parish magazine. You may be emailing out and texting people. You might have posters as well. And there's a whole lot of Generosity Week resources that I am going to show you in a second. But these are all ways that you can actually get the message across about Generosity Week and about the Parish Giving Scheme, ways that you can communicate the Parish Giving Scheme to your congregations and also to the wider community as well. So I said I would mention a little bit about Generosity Week resources themselves. This is a handy table here, which just sets out the different steps of Generosity Week and what type of resources are available. You will find promotional flyers. There's a Generosity Week video that you can download and use on a church near. You can use that on a church near you, and you can also use that on your website. And there's some graphics as well that you can find, and you can either use them or you can amend them to suit yourself. And there's PowerPoint as well, branded PowerPoint that you can use. And you can find all of those things by going to this link here, which will take you to the Church of England website, or you can find them on this link here, which will take you to the diocesan website on our Generosity Week page. And you will find all of these documents that you need, or links to those documents, and to amend those documents and download them by going to those particular areas. What you'll also find is there are some podcasts that have been prepared by the Church of England team with people talking about what generosity means to them. They're very short podcasts, about 5 or 6 minutes long, and quite inspirational to listen to. So you can help to get the message about generosity across to your parishioners and get them thinking and inspired by listening to the podcasts. There's also some new resources that have been produced for 2022, which I'll show you in a minute. There's some resources particularly for young people and children and how to get them involved in Generosity Week. And of course, there's liturgy as well. There are prayers that have been developed. There's service content material that you can download, and there is a Eucharist celebrating generosity and gratitude, all of which you can download, and your vicar can use those materials during Generosity Week. And of course, Generosity Week is just the start, really. You shouldn't stop thinking about generosity after Generosity Week. It's just a start to getting you to thinking about how you can build a generous church and grow a generous culture. There are other things that you can do throughout the year. You can go to the Generous Church Toolkit, and your PCC can actually use that toolkit to help them reflect on what's going well, and what the learning points are in terms of communicating generosity and growing a generous culture. There's also the potential to run a generosity fika, which involves thinking about generosity, looking at the theology and reflecting on that. And also something that your PCC should be doing annually is actually reviewing your finances annually and reviewing generosity in that way as well. So there's all sorts of other things that you can do leading on from Generosity Week to continue thinking about generosity and how to grow a generous culture. And finally here, there is a webinar that's already been produced by the Church of England Giving team called How to Run Generosity Week 2022. And by going to this link, you can watch the recorded webinar here. And I said earlier that there's some new resources that have been produced for Generosity Week this year. There's a document here that you can look at. It's only a couple of pages long, which is all about celebrating Generosity Week in the wider community. And that's a really interesting document. It gives you some ideas about how you can get the wider community involved with Generosity Week. There's a few suggestions in there, perhaps organising a fundraising event to take place during Generosity Week. It might be also a volunteer event where people can come and help tidy up an area or litter pick, that sort of thing. And also there's a document here which the Diocese of Leeds produced last year, which is also about how to encourage children and young people to explore the concept of stewardship. And finally, another thing that's new for this year is a Generosity Week newsletter. So there's 10 issues of the newsletter, 10 editions, and the newsletter is coming out every Wednesday right up until Generosity Week starts itself. And if you click into this first edition here, you'll be able to go to the page on the Church of England website where you can read all the newsletters that have come out, because I think 4 of them have already come out. And it's packed with tips on what you can do, some ideas of what you can do during Generosity Week. And you can also sign up to receive those newsletters straight to your inbox every Wednesday. It's a great thing to have. It's really exciting to read. Finally, I'd like to finish with this video which was actually from the Diocese of Hereford. And it's a treasurer who's made a series of short films where he's talking about his church, how his church launched the PGS during the Harvest Festival and the difference it has made to them and to him personally and to the parish. I mean, these are the sorts of videos that can be made on a smartphone camera, and there's all sorts of free online tools that you can use to snip out any bits that you don't want from the recording. But this is a really good one really interesting to listen to. And following this, I'll be taking questions. So listen to this one.
When we launched our scheme, we did so at Harvest Festival because we thought that was an appropriate time to encourage people to give in recognition of the generosity in which God has given to the congregation and to the world in general. So the Parish Giving Scheme in itself is not an ethos for giving, it's a method of giving, it's a useful tool, but we still encourage people to give in response to the generosity that has been given to them. Since launching the Parish Giving Scheme, we've had approximately 20 people who've converted from giving either by standing order or by envelope to now paying by direct debit under the Parish Giving Scheme. We've also recruited either 8 or 9 new givers who are not giving on a regular basis. And those that have converted have quite often increased the amount that they were giving As a result, our monthly giving has increased by approximately 30%.
So I hope that you found that presentation helpful. I hope it's given you some ideas about what you can do to launch the PGS during Generosity Week and how you can actually run Generosity Week itself. If there are any questions now, I will take them. I'll just stop the recording now. But for those of you who are watching this as a recorded webinar, thank you very much for watching the webinar. And please do get in touch if you need any further support and help with Generosity Week. Thank you.